Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks so much. We appreciate you uh, hopping online, coming to learn with us today. My name is Bree. I work at Arch Solar in our marketing department, so I have the pleasure of getting to learn along with all of you today. So today, very exciting. We have a webinar about sustainable home improvements and rebates. We are presenting it as Arch Solar, but we are also presenting it in tandem with Green Homeowners United. So very much looking forward to hearing what both orgs have to say. Our presenter, Kevin, I believe, is just hopping on, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over to Angie. She is one of our co-presenters, and she can introduce herself, and then Kevin is getting situated, can jump on in.
Thanks, Bree. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for taking time out of your day to join us. My name is Angie Kochanski. I'm the Director of Business Development here at Arch Solar. I've been with the company for a little over 8 years now, but I've been in solar since 2012. I actually got started with a solar panel manufacturer that used to be located in Milwaukee. So neat beginnings there. Not many knew that there was even a solar panel manufacturer in Milwaukee. So it's been neat to grow with the industry and see things evolve, and also to connect with partners such as Green Homeowners United. So Kevin, I believe you're on now. Sorry to hear you had a little technical difficulties, but would you care to introduce yourself? Oh, is he, Bree, I don't know if he's able to.
Yeah, let me see. Kevin, it looks like you're muted. Let me see if I can unmute you. Kevin, see if you can chat now. It looks like your mic. It looks like your mic is enabled and you might have to click the mute off.
There we go. Got it.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks
Morning,
for
everyone.
helping with that.
All sorts of technical difficulties. Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Kevin Kane. I'm the chief economist of Green Homeowners United. I'm the one who gets to do a lot of fun math and calculations to figure out how much people can save on their energy usage, what rebates, incentives, and all that are here, and have been both proud to work with partners like Arch Solar. I actually have Arch Solar installed solar on my house. So could not be happier with it. And so it's been great to work with everyone here. Would you like me to just jump right in, or? No, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just go over the agenda a little bit, just fill everybody in on what the topics are today. So just want to give you all a little intro to who we are as businesses in the Wisconsin community. And then also an overview of incentives that are available not only for solar, but for home efficiency projects as well. And then just the sort of energy assessments that you'd want to look at in regards to seeing if you're eligible for these rebates, and then some of the technology that helps make your home more efficient. So that will be things like heat pumps, and then we'll dig a little bit more into solar. So that just gives you an idea of what we'll be covering today in the next 20 minutes or so. At this point, I will share a little bit about who Arch is. So we have been installing solar in Wisconsin since 2003. We're headquartered up in Plymouth, Wisconsin, but we also have an office and warehouse in Madison, and we recently purchased a new building in Milwaukee, on Milwaukee's north side. So we're excited to be moving our offices there probably in June. We do already have the warehouse operating there, but we still have just a little bit of remodeling to do before the staff can all move into the offices. So we're just excited about the growth that we've had as a company and just continuing to build our roots here in the Wisconsin community. When we back in 2016, just to give you some perspective on how much Arch has grown over the years, we were at about 20 employees at that point, and now we are just under 170. We install projects from large scale utility projects down to residential homes doing service upgrades. So we're really like across the board on what we offer as far as electrical services go and scales of solar projects. In total, we've had over 150 megawatts installed between our residential, commercial, and utility crew. And then I'll let Kevin give a little intro to Green Homeowners United.
Morning, everyone. Again, Kevin Kane here. We at Green Homeowners United are proud to be the only woman-owned, unionized residential energy efficiency and economic modeling firm that does work in energy assessing, insulation, windows, soon heating systems, and the like, and basically help navigate people through all the various rebates, tax credits, grants, fair financing, whatever it takes to make life easier to upgrade. Next, please. Now, the Inflation Reduction Act is something that we're very proud to help get the word out about. It's been around for about a year and a half, but many of the programs are just starting to hit the ground. So it is the largest investment our country has ever made in taking on climate change. For homeowners, there are three big programs. There are the federal energy efficiency tax credits, of which the solar tax credit is certainly a major part of it, but there's also other ones for things like heat pumps and insulation and things of that nature. There is the homes rebate. This one actually just launched in about end of September, early October, and it's about $74 million statewide here in Wisconsin for upgrades that have been found to reduce energy use in the home by 20% or more. And we're happy to find out that we've apparently done more of these projects than anyone in the country. And so we're really able to help people with how to use these, and we'll talk about them. And there's one more, if you can keep clicking. And that is the home electrification rebate. It's also another $74 million rebate. Oh, right, that's a photo of us with the governor and the U.S. Secretary of Energy announcing it here in Wisconsin. And you can see the heat pump in the background. So this is for upgrades that help a home move away from natural gas, propane, and fuel oil to start to electrify a house. Things like wiring new breaker boxes, installing heat pumps, heat pump water heaters, heat pump dryers, induction ovens, things that can help us move away from fossil fuels, as well as help electrify the building that can be more powered by solar. Next, please. So unfortunately, there's a few delays, and I want people to know about this. As of today, Wisconsin and Focus on Energy cannot yet help the following homes. They will soon, but not yet, and those are duplexes, triplexes, and multifamily. Currently, only single-family homes can be helped, and homeowners and tenants who have not yet lived in the property for at least 12 months, unless they can get the previous owner's bills. All of these will be available at some point, but we don't yet know when. So for today, we can only help single-family homes where a homeowner or tenant has lived there for at least 12 months. Next, please. But please repeat after me. There are no grants for Windows, and I hate having to say this, but I get phone calls literally every day. I've even have presentations where I've had this exact slide, and people would come up to me after and say, "How do I get a grant for Windows?" And I have to want to pull my hair out, and I'm sorry, it just won't happen. The part of the reason is that one of the rebates requires at least 20% energy savings in homes. And despite what you may have heard from Windows salespeople, I have never found Windows to save at least 20% energy savings. And we install Windows. I just want people to go in eyes open as far as the impact. That being said, Windows can save energy, and there are fair financing programs, below market rate ones that can be available, but there are no grants for them. Next, please. Now, to help with this, because there are a lot of rebates, and we'll cover sort of the top lines of them, but we want to make this easier for people. There is an online calculator at our website, greenhomewi.com/IRA calculator, and you can let us know a bit about you. Do you own the home? Are you a tenant? What area of the state do you live in? How many people live in your home? Next, please. And with that, you'll be able to find out, they'll ask some questions. Do you earn more or less than this number? And depending on the answer, you will get different amounts of incentives. Next, please. And that number will change based on household size, based on what county you live in, things like that. There are low income, high income, and middle income rebate amounts. And so In addition to that, so here, for example, this is a middle income person who lives in the city of Milwaukee. If they got a 20% reduction on their energy use from an energy assessment, they would qualify for a rebate of $2,000 for whatever improvement hit that mark. But in addition, there's even more rebates for specific things. If part of that job included insulating your attic or a new furnace or basement windows, or excuse me, basement wall insulation or windows, you can mix and match a lot of different rules, and we will help you navigate for them. And so you might find yourself, making $100,000, but still eligible for $16,000 in rebates and tax credits. Rebates immediately reduce the bill. Tax credits come off at tax time. And you can just use the calculator, find out what you're eligible for. But if you're interested in learning how to use them, you can also immediately sign up and we'll show you how. Next, please. So we do want your help though. This got cut off a little bit, but basically there are certain types of projects that can be done at effectively no cost. For people who live in the greater Milwaukee area and they earn less than that amount, depending on how many people live there, and your basement sticks out at least a foot to a foot and a half above ground. So here's some photos of places like Sherman Park, River West, Harambe. You can really see those basements sticking out above ground. We have found that we can do projects at their house at effectively no cost and save them money right away. Even then, talking about things like electrifying heat pumps and maybe someday solar. But really, if you know people whose houses look like this and are below that income, please let us know because we can help them at effectively no cost. And there'll be a slightly different website there, but that first one would help too. Next, please.
Bree, I do see that it looks like Jeannie has a question, or she at least raised her hand. I'm not sure if you're able to drop your question into the chat, Jeannie. Otherwise, we could try to unmute you.
Yes, it looks like I do not see anything written down, but Jeannie, if you'd like to put something in, that would be wonderful. I'm happy to read it out. And I will let you know when that comes through.
Thanks, Bree. All right, Kevin, back to you.
All right, so what you're seeing in this big kind of imposing chart is just a lot of the big rebates and tax credits and incentives. And there's the homes rebate, the focus on energy rebates, the HERE rebates, the 25C federal tax credit. Basically, we want to navigate this with you. And in some cases, certain things may be available, certain things may not be appropriate for your house. So because this is a lot, and this doesn't even include the homes rebate of anywhere from 1,500 to 10,000, depending on your income and how much you do. We want to help navigate so that you can get as much as possible for your house. Usually it's not just going to be one thing. Usually we would probably be doing a couple different topics throughout the house. Because the house is all connected. But we usually like to tell people is we encourage you to seal and insulate the house, then also consider electric-based heating systems, and then finalize that with solar. If you're thinking you might ever want a heat pump or a heat pump water heater, keep that in mind when you're considering solar. Or I'm going to have to go back to Arch at some point because I did solar first, and now I got to get more solar panels. But you may not need as large of a heat pump if your house is also better insulated and sealed. And so this is all part of the process of decarbonizing your house, energy efficiency, electrification, and renewables. And because of which there's all these various different programs. Every house is different. Allow us to help you navigate this and the other ones not even able to fit on the slide. Next, please. All right, so just briefly then, the big ones there are the HERE rebate and the homes rebate. And what you're seeing in the HERE rebate is for things, if you are below a certain income, you can get the project in some cases covered maybe 100%. In others, it might be 50%. For things like heat pump water heater, electric heat pump for space heating, it would replace your air conditioner and make your furnace not have to run as much. Electrical panel upgrades, wiring, insulation, air sealing, ventilation, and eventually heat pump clothes dryers and induction stoves. Again, all in the process of helping people get off of gas. You can make electricity green. You can't fully make gas green. Now, oh, could you just go back one more, please? The homes rebate, I'll just be quick about this too, because it's a relatively long. I'm happy to dig into it for those that have questions. But basically, the question that the homes rebate works by, you must get an energy assessment of your home. If someone is low income, that assessment can be paid for. If someone is middle or upper income, there is a cost to it, but you can get a tax credit alone just for doing an assessment. But that assessment's going to look all throughout your house, measure your bills, your windows, your heating systems, your insulation, and it's going to say, how do you save at least 20% on your energy use? If you can do 20%, you might find yourself anywhere from 5,000 to, excuse me, 1,500 for high income or 5,000 off for low income. For whatever project is found to save at least 20% or collection of improvements. But if you can do 35% reduction, that's a lot more done in the house. Depending on your income, you might get anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000 off the work. And if it's a multifamily building, which again is not quite ready yet in Wisconsin, those dollar amounts are on a per unit basis. So for multifamily, whether it's duplex or 20 unit buildings, we'll be able to do a lot of work to help make these buildings energy efficient and really heat pump and solar ready. So the first thing to do, get income qualified. You can go to Focus on Energy's website. You can come to us. Most of the time, even if you're middle income, you'll have to do this too to prove that you're middle income. Most of the time, all you will really need is a recent utility bill and proof of income, which can usually be last year's federal income tax for those in the household. Or for people below a certain income, if they're enrolled in something like Medicaid or energy assistance or food share, you can show that to Focus on Energy, fill out some forms, you get approved at a specific income amount. And then you can find contractors like us who can do the energy assessments in the home and both model the 20% or more energy savings approach and navigate you through the incentives, all of the ones that you saw on the previous page. Uh, and then we'll help design the program and project for you. Uh, while there are a lot of people calling, it is still relatively new. And so Wisconsin still has plenty of money. Nothing has changed. Nothing at the federal level has prevented us from accessing these funds for people. And we encourage folks to sign up while Wisconsin still has funds. We estimate well over 10,000 homes in Wisconsin will be able to use this, but I wouldn't wait 3 or more years. Now, again, start with an energy assessment. What you might see is a report that documents everything that we can do in the house that saves energy. This is a house in the Milwaukee neighborhood of Sherman Park. Every house is different. This particular home was found to already have a good amount of attic insulation. We could seal air leaks in the house. Their windows were okay. In that second to last column on the right, you'll see the percent energy saved from those approaches. This particular house really stuck out above ground a lot, and their basement was all concrete, not insulated. Concrete's a great building material, but a terrible insulator. And we found that we could save them over 20% energy just from insulating the part of the basement above ground and sealing air leaks to make the house less drafty. And this homeowner was able to get more than 5,000 in incentives, and the final project then was $1. But we'll also be able to help navigate through other things, such as, is a dual fuel heat pump right for you? In this particular case, they would save a lot of energy, but at today's gas and electric prices, they would actually pay more for it. So why would they want to do that? Well, maybe they don't have air conditioning, or maybe they are just trying to get away from gas, or they're considering solar because my heat pump is now powered by my arch panels. And so I'm pretty excited by it. But that's also why we wouldn't generally want to put a heat pump in a house that is not well insulated or sealed, or even considering solar. So again, we'll navigate people through all of this, and every house is different, but we'll help you know what's the best approach for yours. And yes, important question to hit 20%. So I believe this is one of the last few ones, but what is a heat pump? You've heard me briefly talk about this. You're going to hear a lot about them. They're not new. They've actually been around since the 70s, but they're better than they've ever been. If you lived in the places like New York, the South, the Pacific Northwest, heat pumps have been around for a long time, but heat pumps are basically special air conditioners. They connect to your furnace system like an outside AC unit would, and they both heat and cool the home. Whereas before, your furnace would stop at, let's say, 68 degrees and then switch to AC. Now it might switch over at 20 degrees, where now the heat pump is now heating the house and then eventually cooling it. Some heat pumps can even go as far down as negative 20 degrees. Although in general, you're probably going to end up keeping a backup heating system like the furnace for those really, really, really cold parts of the year. But my heat pump now is working in the cool months, and when the sun's shining, it's being powered by my solar. So there's significant rebates for this, up to 8,000 per building, and in some cases, if the heat pump costs 8,000 and you're low income, you might get it effectively no cost completely. So it's a big transition. Expect to hear more about it.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. Well, you gave us a lot to think about and consider. And as we're looking at those electrical updates to our homes and as we gravitate more towards electrification, that's only going to be higher electric bills. So that's where solar can really come in and help supplement that increased usage, and also really help you have a true decarbonized home. So just going to go over some reasons why you should consider solar and just how it would function here in our area. So there is often a misconception that because we're in Wisconsin, we don't get enough sunlight for solar, but that's certainly not the case. Germany is one of the world leaders in renewable energy, and they get just as much sun as we do here in Wisconsin. So we do see on average between 4 to 4.25 kilowatt hours a day. So there's definitely potential to offset your electric bills with solar, and we'll put that seasonal analysis into your proposal so that you are getting an accurate depiction of what you could expect in the winter months from your solar production. Obviously, it's going to vary seasonally. So as I mentioned, electric bills going up, whether that be from increased usage as we move towards more electrification, but we're also seeing utility rates increasing. Honestly, these estimates of 2 to 3% is pretty conservative. It's jumping. I think We Energies has been averaging closer to a 5% increase over the past few years. So we expect that to just keep getting more expensive. So what you can do with solar is essentially lock in your utility rate for the next 30 years, and you don't have to worry about the volatility of the market. In addition, we still have a 30% federal tax credit available, and then Focus on Energy, who's offering the here and home rebates, also has a Focus on Energy incentive for solar. So this is just an example of an $18,000 system and what you could expect back with incentives. So out of pocket cost, $12,300. And then we're also seeing that solar helps to increase property values. So we're also seeing that homes are selling faster with solar. We've had a number of our customers that have sold their homes since they've installed solar. So we've heard some firsthand experiences about this, but you can also do a little bit of research. This, I think, was a report that came from Zillow. So the information is out there. So when you're considering solar, what we typically do is we start by looking at a satellite image of your home. There are some neat softwares out there now. Google Sunroof has one that you could go Google your address and see how it shows up on Google Sunroof. Otherwise, we would help you through that, but you can see the brighter yellow that has better irradiance for solar. And then we'd also ask for 12 months of electrical usage. If we're dealing with a newer home, new construction, then we can make some general assumptions. But we do want to try to look at your consumption on a monthly basis so we can give you an accurate depiction of how much you could expect your solar to be offsetting on a monthly basis. And then make sure that we are sizing the system according to your home's electrical needs. Just to give you a general overview of what is included with our systems. So you'd be able to see how your solar is producing in comparison to your home's consumption. So that's pretty neat. You just have a platform that you can download an app to your phone or just log in through the web browser. But seeing how your system is producing on a daily basis, people really enjoy seeing that and seeing how it compares to their electric bills post-solar. And then we have a professional install crew. We're pretty proud to be the boots on the ground installing the jobs. We have master electricians, journeyman electricians. We have an apprentice program, so we are really nurturing and building up the next generation of electricians, which is exciting for us to be a part of. And then we also provide 25-year warranties on panels, microinverters, and a 5-year operations and maintenance warranties. So that would be anything, that would be the result of our labor. We cover for 5 years. Otherwise, the manufacturers have a warranty on top of that. And then there's also options for adding battery storage, things of that nature. EV charging is a lot of customers are opting for that, offsetting your EV charging with solar. But at this point, we will turn it over to see if we have any questions. Looks like we've had a couple comments pop in the chat. If people have more questions, please feel free to drop them in. We do have a couple minutes yet that we can answer some questions.
Yes, Angie, you are correct. We have a few that have already come through. One question, so it sounds like someone already has an induction stove, electric dryer, and a solar system plus battery storage. So that's amazing. Very, very big electrification on that. I love that. The question is, would there be a benefit from a heat pump or adding in a heat pump into the mix of that system? So I'm guessing the question is benefit financially, but also if there's any discussion of that electrically, please go ahead and let them know.
Let me take that one, Angie.
I'll let you take that one, heat pump expert.
So heat pumps are fascinating. They really are going to be the heating wave of the future because while your furnace might be 95, 96% efficient, even on a really good one, your heat pump can be 200 to 300% efficient. And so for every dollar you spend, saves about $2 to $3, can create about $2 to $3 of heat. So they really are the way of the future. It's the same device used in geothermal. It's just whether you're getting it from the air or underground. So they're all heat pumps. And they move heat as opposed to burning heat. And so you're really going to see a lot of benefit to the overall energy use of your home from electrifying. Admittedly, though, our states, it's a little harder here. And it's not just because of the temperature. The temperature is not as bad as it was. Although I suppose it's even getting better with the climate change. But specifically, heat pumps can really work to -20 and sometimes less. The issue is that our local utilities often charge more for electric than they do for natural gas. So doing a heat pump, I really would encourage you to not get one thinking you're going to save hundreds and thousands of dollars a year. That's probably not going to happen. But you can then pair it with solar and really change how you're paying for these sort of things. I'd rather have solar covering it than me paying We Energies for my electric bill. So heat pumps are really fascinating. They really are the way of the future. Electric and gas rates may not always be this way, but as Angie pointed out, the electric rates have been going up. And if anything, it just makes solar that much more sense. But yes, heat pumps are a great way to proceed. Just don't do it thinking you're going to save thousands on its own.
Thanks for the question, John, and thanks for joining us today. It's nice to see an Arch customer in the audience.
It looks like, yeah, that's the only question that has come through. I know we are at time, so what we can do as well is it looks like both Kevin and Angie have put their information here on this slide. So don't want to speak for you all, but I'm sure you'd be happy to receive any any follow-up inquiries or anything that's a specific question. In addition, this recording will be sent out to everyone that registered, so you can always go back, maybe pause on some of the number slides. I know there's a lot of information being presented that's really helpful. Angie and Kevin, anything that you all would like to say as we close out?
Thanks for partnering with us today, Kevin, and congratulations on the new La Crosse office.
Yes, thank you. We just launched it this week with big fanfare, and we're really excited to get people's houses heat pump ready and soon solar ready.
That's great.
There we go. Amazing. All of the sustainable home improvements. We're doing it as a collective unit. So thank you everyone for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll hopefully talk soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.